everyone. We're gonna pick up where we left off.
And I'm going to most likely be playing GTA most of the day, so I can actually sleep tonight.
Michael, you're breaking up really bad.
How about now?
That's a little better.
Damn it, hold on.
I think you're fine now. It was just earlier. It sounded really bad.
Well, that's your fault.
It's not me, it's you. It's your end that's having the issues.
I don't care, it's still your fault.
Whatever. Oimi was the first to catch sight of Yo and Fuminori leaving the courtyard. Reluctant to interrupt them, but still unwilling to leave them alone, Koiji and Oimi end up watching the whole thing from the shadows. That asshole.
Hey, it's the Lady Small Tits.
Yeah, I think she's, well, yeah.
Is she a whore?
Nah. Why would you just assume that?
I don't know. Because I'm me and I assume things.
Throughout the exchange, Oimi was clearly itching to jump out and punch Fuminori in the face. Knowing her temper, Koji kept firm hold on her sleeve until the end. If he hadn't, she might very well have done it. Fuminori leaves after Yo, his every step seeming to take an act of willpower. Koji sighs heavily into the once more empty courtyard, but the bitter taste of his throat won't go away. In his throat.
You're breaking up a bit.
I'm breaking up?
Yes, you are.
In the stream or like in the call?
I think of the call. Hold on.
Alright.
Okay, in the stream you're fine.
Okay, good. What's wrong with him? Even for Koji, Fuminori's treatment of Yo is unforgivable. However, the first thing that he feels is confusion. Koji and Fuminori are old friends, having known each other since before college. As far as Koji knows, Fuminori never has been so cruel before. There's no question that the accident changed him. Koji, are you going to just let this go? I don't want to, but what can we do? Something better than peeping, Oimi shouts, clearly infuriated. I won't be satisfied until I give him a piece of my mind. That won't make Tsukaba feel better. But it'll at least make me feel better. Yeah, you can already tell what's probably gonna happen.
Cowboy butt sex?
Maybe. Yo and Oimi are best friends, just like Koji and Fuminori, but it was the relationship between Koji and Oimi that brought Fuminori and Yo together. Just as it is natural for Oimi to be worried about her friend, it is also natural for her to be angry with Fuminori. I'm going to talk to Sakisaka-kun by myself. You don't have to come. You serious? You go take care of Yo. She's probably really hurt. After she's finished crying, she'll need someone to be nice to her. Wait, shouldn't we switch jobs? That would be a logical conclusion. You know my personality. If I try to comfort her, I'll just end up making it a lot worse.
なるほど。納得いった。
Yeah, you have a point.
あ、嫌な
That's
言
a
い
dick thing to
方。
say.
What?
Yeah, you have a point. I'm a fucking douchebag.
What's that supposed to mean? That's right, Michael, what's that supposed to mean?
じゃあまあ、そっちはほどほどにしとけよな。
Anyway, just don't go too far. And in the conversation before Oimi's mood gets any worse, Koji heads off to find Yo. I feel awful, miserable, but also refreshed. I finally crossed the line. I knew it would come crashing down like this sooner or later. Having become unable to feel anything but disgust for other people, there was no way I could hope to maintain the relationships I'd had before the accident. Today's incident will definitely get back to Koji and Oimi,
God damn my car.
and everyone will be convinced that Sakisaka Fuminori has had a major change of character. Honestly, I don't care anymore. At least I probably won't be institutionalized for this. I just need to avoid acting any stranger than I already have.
That's right, destroy all the light posts things.
Wait, what?
I'm playing GTA, so I'm not fucking asleep tonight.
Oh. If this puts a rift between me and the others, good. Just thinking about the stress I'll avoid makes me feel like a weight has been lifted off from my shoulders. I'm fed up from them sticking their noses into my life. It's like they don't care that they make... It's like they don't care that they make my gut turn just by being near me. I've been terrified of them until now, but today, I struck fear into one of them. On one hand, thinking about this is a relief, but I'm not entirely without remorse for what happened. The person I just chased off with the verbal equivalent of a nuclear bomb used to be my friend Yo. Even if my senses don't believe it, my mind accepts the theory. I don't have any particular grudge against Yo herself, and I didn't want to hurt her. In retrospect, perhaps I should have just outright refused to talk to her. Yo, she was an attractive woman, and I certainly didn't think badly of her. To be honest though, I was annoyed when Koji and Oimi tried to stick us together for the fun of it. It felt like I was being toyed with, and Yo seemed totally oblivious to the fact that she was dancing to their tune. Her cluelessness was irritating. That said, I knew that none of them meant any harm. Back then, I didn't have any reason to hurt others just to get my way. If having a casual relationship with Yo would keep our circle of friends together, I was willing to make that compromise. Now, however, there's no room in my heart for the tolerance necessary to just go with the flow. If merely talking to someone is an unbearable ordeal, how can I be expected to show kindness? These ruminations have left me exhausted. I want to return to Saya as soon as possible, but thinking about the packed trains and crowded downtown streets between here and home saps my will. Catching sight of a nearby bench, I sit down and close my eyes to the horrors of the world. I can't do anything about the stink or the noise, but at least I can manage to calm my nerves enough to rest. When I regained consciousness in the T University Hospital ward, the world was as dark as it is now. I hadn't regained my sight, even though my eyes are optical nerves were fine. It must have been an after effect of the accident. Blindness was a shock, but now I know that my suffering was nothing. After all, my senses of hearing, touch, taste, and smell were all fine at the time. The real tragedy began when my sight returned. The one small mercy was that I was able to come to terms with the terrible accident and my neurosurgery while still blind. I panicked when I first saw the nightmarish hospital and the blood-curdling shapes of the doctors and nurses, but I soon guessed the cause. It chills me to think of what might have happened if I had recovered my sight along with my consciousness, suddenly awaking in what can only be described as hell. I would have no doubt lost my mind instantly. Soon my disorder spread to the sense of touch, taste, and smell. In the human sensory structure, sight is far more powerful than any of the other senses. The taste of my food, the feel of my bedsheets, the fragrance of my get-well flowers, all became as unbearably foul as my eyes said they should be. Eventually, when even the voices of the doctors became unrecognizable as human, I decided to kill myself. I didn't believe for a second that I could come to terms with this new world. At least, not until I met Saya.
Wow.
Dude, those people in the background talking. Like, I can hear
What?
everything they're saying. Yeah.
What, my lord?
No, it's fine.
Well, too bad I did.
Alright. One night when I was trying to think of a painless way to die, I found myself succumbing to sleep. Drifting between the nightmares in my dreams and the nightmare of reality, I didn't notice her enter my room. Oh god. Suddenly there was a face staring curiously down at me from next to my bed. The face was not covered in pus, slime, or earthworm. Like feelers, it had the smooth white cheeks, round eyes, a lovely little nose, all things I'd never expected to see again. The face was that of a girl, undeniably human, and positively glowing with beauty. Michael, is that not the scariest face you've ever seen?
I'm not even looking. I'm just saying.
You should look.
Yeah, I'm not looking anymore.
She's watching you, Michael.
Fuck you. Well, I will kill you. I will kill you. And I will wait a week for some of your games if you do that again.
Do what? Make you look?
Yes.
Oh, come on, it's not that scary.
Yeah, maybe not to you.
Whatever. I sighed in admiration.
Are you gonna be a good boy?
What'd you say?
Are you gonna be a good boy for one?
Yeah, don't look unless you want to.
Exactly. If it's not something, only alert me if it's Saya or the big or small tit lady. Okay?
Well, that is Saya, so...
Yes, but not. I don't mean Saya staring at you gleefully in the fucking background that looks like she wants to eat your soul more than she wants to eat your kiss.
Because she does.
I hate you so much. And don't think I won't make you wait, because I will.
Okay, I told you I wouldn't do it again.
Remember that you said.
Savoring the first peace and joy since regaining my sight. Apparently, she had not expected such a reaction.
怖くないの？私のこと。
Aren't you afraid of me? Looking at the clock, I saw that it was exactly 3 in the morning, not a time for a young girl to be wandering around a hospital. Even someone with no imagination would likely have thought her a ghost. I, however, wouldn't have cared if she had been a ghost. Either way, she was a godsend.
君は誰だね。なぜここに。
Who are you? Why are you here?
私はさや。パパのこと探しに来たの。
I'm Saya. I'm looking for my dad. I assumed that she was the daughter of one of the night shift nurses or other patients. It was unusual, but not unthinkable for such a child to be wandering around. Rather, it was the hospital security's fault for not locking the doors properly.
あなた、怖がらないんじゃつまらない。
It's no fun if you're not scared.
ちょっと。
Wait, I cried, desperate to keep her from leaving. It was only after she turned around that I realized I hadn't thought of what to do next.
Nani?
Well, her eyes drew me into their depths, healing my soul to its core. Through the white haze clouding my mind, I struggled to form a coherent sentence.
女の子にお願いしていいことじゃないんだが、今君にしか頼めない。
I shouldn't do this to a girl, but you're the only one I can ask. No longer concerned with propriety, I let the words come pouring out of my mouth.
手を握らせてもらえないだろうか。
Will you let me hold your hand? What'd you say? Saya first looked confused, but then smiled like she'd found a new toy. Her smile was like the sun.
変な人。そんなこと言い出したの、あなたが初めて。
You're strange, she said, holding out her slender white hand. No one's ever asked me to do anything like that. Ever so carefully, as though catching snowflakes in my hand, I placed my palm against hers. I could clearly feel the human warmth and the softness of her delicate fingers. She was there, just beyond the palm of my hand. Thinking back on the joyful tears I shed then, I know that that was the moment I was saved from my fate.
この半月の間に初めて人に触れた。人だと感じられる体に。
This is the first time in half a month that I've touched someone and felt them as human.
Huh?
Ooh, baby.
他の人じゃダメなんだ。
Innuendo.
僕事故に遭って、その後遺症らしいんだけど、人が人の姿に見えないんだよ。
I can't touch anyone else. I was in an accident, and as an after effect, I can't see people as human.
本当に不思議な人。
How mysterious.
あなたって面白い。明日の夜もまた来ていい？
You're interesting, she said, winding her fingers gently around mine. Can I come back tomorrow night?
ああ、そりゃもういいのかい？君はそんなことをして。
Of course, but are you alright with that?
大丈夫よ。夜は私のものだから。
Sure, the night belongs to me. You know, I kind of take that as an indication of something. I don't know, just saying.
I don't care.
And so our nightly rendezvous began. Saya came to my room every night at 3 a.m., skillfully taking advantage of the duty nurse's shift change. I was astonished to learn that she was living and hiding inside the hospital.
これだけ広いと隠れる場所には事欠かないから。
What are you singing?
Sailor Moon.
Oh. Yeah, because that totally fits the mood of what I'm playing.
Doesn't it?
It's so big that I never run out of hiding places, she said, answering my surprise with a nonchalant smile. She told me that she had been living in the suburbs with her father, a doctor teaching at the hospital, but had found herself all alone when one day he stopped coming home. After tiring of waiting for her father at home, Sai had decided one night to sneak into the hospital, where she'd lived for over 2 months while searching for his whereabouts.
学校には行かなくていいのかい？
Don't you have to go to school?
いいの。勉強は全部パパに教えてもらったから。さやはとっても頭がいいんだよ。
No, Dad taught me everything I need to know. I'm really smart, you know. She was a strange girl. While she looked and talked like an innocent child, she also had the ability to hide from adults and feed herself. Perhaps her lack of common sense was due to her youth, but the sharp intelligence and deep knowledge she periodically exhibited were not those of a child. But such minor things were of no concern to me. To me, Saya was the only other human in a world gone mad. Her existence meant...
Destiny.
What'd you say?
I just pre-ordered Destiny.
Destiny?
Yeah.
Oh, is that for the,
PS3.
Alright, it's for the
PS...
PS4 too, I think.
Yeah. I got it for the... I pre-ordered for the PS3 though, for obvious fucking reasons, you scum. Kill you.
I want to pre-order that game, The Evil Within.
Yeah, me too.
Actually, no, I think I'm going to pre-order Dark Souls 2 first. The Collector's Edition. Her existence meant far more to me than the standards of society. Isn't it dangerous here? Have you ever thought you might be found?
全然平気。ここにいれば食べるものにも不自由しないし、パパのうちに一人ぼっちでいるよりもずっと楽しいよ。
Nope, never. I don't have to worry about finding food here, and it's a lot more fun than staying in Dad's house by myself.
入院してる患者さんたちのうち、ちょっと精神的に参ってそうな人を事前にチェックしといてね。
You kind of broke up there, what'd you say?
I said, don't trust her, she's an evil Cthulhu monster who wants to have sex with you and have little Cthulhu babies.
Yep, more or less.
Even though she's a lowly.
I looked through the patient lists and found the ones who have mental problems, Saya continued, grinning mischievously.
時々部屋に真夜中に忍び込んで脅かしたりするの。その人が大騒ぎしても、そういう患者さんの言うことはみんな真に受けたりしないから。
Sometimes I sneak into their rooms late at night and scare them. Even if they raise a big fuss, no one believes what a mental patient says. What mental patients say.
結局は悪い夢ってことで片付けられちゃうし。
They just brush it off as a bad dream. Her confession reminded me that the hospital was famous for its ghost stories. Who could have imagined that there was actually a real girl impishly roaming these hallways? So that's why you came to my room at first?
ごめんね。
Yeah.
怒った。
Sorry, are you mad? While her pranks were hardly praiseworthy, voice actors are trying to interrupt me while I'm reading. I couldn't bring myself to scold her for the very thing that had brought us together. You shouldn't do it anymore. Will you come talk to me at night instead?
さやもその方が楽しい。
Yeah, that's more fun for me too. Ew. With extreme care, I was able to conceal my sensory disorder. It was glaringly obvious that the doctors had no way to cure me, and the fact that I had just undergone a new treatment clearly still in the trial and error stage made me even more cautious. How much interest would the doctor show in a patient exhibiting such unusual side effects? As a medical student, it was easy for me to imagine the clinical coldness of the researchers. For the sake of my dignity, I was not about to become a pitiful guinea pig. And so I hid my everyday discomfort and loathing behind a mask of normalcy, convincing the doctors that any signs of stress were merely a result of hospitalization. Saya was my support. Looking forward to her nightly visits was the only thing that gave me strength to overcome my daily torture. Having hope can make an enormous difference in a patient's progress. With the aid of my secret nurse, I recovered at a pace that left the doctors stunned. On the last night before my release, I summoned the courage and asked her, Are you going to stay in the hospital forever?
結局パパの手がかりはなかったけど、もう他にいるところもないし、バレそうになるまではいいかなって。
Yeah, I couldn't learn anything about my dad, but I don't have anywhere else to go. I guess I'll stay as long as I can hide. In other words, she had no reason to stay either. I decided to take the plunge, timidly asking,
よかったら僕の家に来ないか
why not stay at my house? え?
家族はもういないから部屋はいくらでも余ってる人目を忍ぶような必要もないし住み心地もそんなに悪くないんじゃないかと
My family's gone, so I have plenty of rooms. You won't need to hide, and it's not a bad place to live.
ずっと文則と一緒に暮らすの？
You want me to live with you? I didn't have the courage to ask her what she thought of that, so I hastily offered a deal.
君の父さんのことは代わりに僕が探してあげる約束するよ必ず居場所を見つけてみせる
In exchange, I'll help you look for your father. I'll find him no matter what.
難しいと思うよ、それ。
I think that'll be hard, Saya said, looking a little embarrassed.
多分パパ、何か悪いことをしてこの病院を辞めたんだと思う。
Dad probably did something bad and had to leave the hospital.
だから警察とかは困るの。なるべくこっそりと探さなきゃいけないし。
We can't get the police involved. You'll have to be as discreet as possible.
頑張るよどんなことだってやる僕は
I'll do whatever it takes. Unable to control myself, I finally spoke the truth.
さやと離れたくないんだ
I don't want to be apart from you. At first she looked bewildered, but after considering it, she said,
少しだけ考えさせて。
Give me a little time to think. That said, she left my room earlier than usual. On the day of my release, I managed to smile as I accepted the hideous, foul-smelling celebratory bouquet. The flesh beasts calling themselves Koji, Yo, and Oimi came to pick me up. They had come to see me any number of times during my stay, but it never got easier to see my old friends change so horribly. My sudden tears of despair drew suspicion, but I managed to explain them away as tears of joy. As we walked through to Koji's car, through the halls, lobby, and parking lot, I desperately averted my eyes from the grotesque world and looked for Saya, but she was nowhere to be seen. I stared through the car window at the hospital, fading in the distance, praying for the last glimmer of hope. But Saya never appeared. After Koji and the others dropped me off in front of the house I'd grown up in, I took another look at my surroundings. I'd never moved. Having lived my entire life in this one house, there had been no other place for me to call home. But now, everything had mercilessly changed. As I walked from the gate to the front door, I looked over at the garden and the trees. I had many memories of childhood there. And I could feel them being defiled by the twisted, festering shapes before me. There was nothing familiar left in the house, nothing to evoke fond memories. What I had once called home was now a whole other world. I have no home, I whispered with a smile of self-pity. Ascending to the second floor, I found my room utterly unrecognizable. And sitting on the bed, curled up like an abandoned cat, was Saya. As I stood there in shock, she looked timidly up at me and in a tiny, weak voice said, Can I really stay? I responded by sweeping her into my arms, embracing her tightly so that she wouldn't escape. Saya did not resist. Having arrived in front of the Sakisaka house, Oimi takes a deep breath to calm her nerves. Her anger doesn't abate, of course, but she knows that it won't help to be so enraged that she can't even say what she came to say. While waiting for a response from the intercom, she looks over a patch of yard that she can see from the outside of the gate. Even Oimi isn't sensitive enough to complain about other people's housekeeping, but this is beyond the pale. The grass is growing wildly, and there are piles of dead leaves everywhere. It doesn't just look untended, it looks like an uninhabited ruin. It's still light out, but every window has its rain shutters tightly sealed. Oimi guesses that if they weren't just shut early, but would have been that they weren't just shut early, but have been closed since morning. Just what kind of life is he leading? Even if he no longer has a family, this level of negligence is going too far. And is it just her imagination, or does something stink like rotten meat? It couldn't be coming from the yard, could it? Oh, I wonder what it could be.
Me too.
I think you already know. There's still no response, so she presses the buzzer again and again and again. Finally, after this has gone on and on for over 10 minutes, Oimi loses her patience and opens the cover of the intercom. As she expected, the power has been disconnected. Maybe Fuminori cares more about not being bothered by newspaper deliveries or solicitors than about receiving the rare guest. But, regardless, Oimi doesn't presume to know his motivations. With her anger reignited by what she can only see as a lack of respect for others, she roughly opens the gate and stomps through the yard to the front door. Given the state of his intercom, she doubts that Fuminori will respond to a knock, so Oimi decides to simply open the door and go in shouting, and if the door is locked, she'll just have to... Surprisingly, the doorknob turns easily in her hand, and the enraged Oimi finds herself throwing the door open, wider than she intended. Her nostrils are instantly assaulted by the choking stench.
Nani?
Eh? What is this? What are you doing in that game, Michael?
Well, I just rigged your prototype phone.
As Oimi stands petrified, the cowbell hanging on the inside of the door chimes loudly, probably alerting Fuminori to the presence of a visitor. Oh god. Welcome home. Oimi can't believe the voice she just heard coming from the room at the end of the hall. It was clearly inhuman, yet its intonation was too complex to have been made by an animal. Is someone there? There is no response. Instead, she hears the squishy sound of something soft and wet flopping its way... Whoops. Flopping its way deeper into the house. Finding it difficult to place a meaningful image to the voice she just heard, Oimi stares blankly at the empty vestibule. There's nothing inside, not even Fuminori's shoes, which can only mean that he's still outside somewhere, wearing them. If Fuminori isn't home, the house should be empty. Then, what was that noise just now? Oh, shit. Michael, you should watch this. Her anger has vanished as if it were never there. Leaving the door open so that the cowbell won't ring, Oimi sets foot into the hallway. The floor creaks, setting her nerves on edge. Oimi herself isn't sure why she's sneaking around like a burglar, but something tells her to make as little noise as possible. The potency of the stink inside the house makes the whiff she caught outside pale in comparison. It's sickening, like piles of fish, guts having been left out to rot. Has food been left to spoil in the kitchen? She also notices something coming from the end of the hallway. A sound coming from the end of the hallway. Stepping gingerly on the creaking floorboards, Oimi makes her way to the end of the hallway. She finds rooms to both sides of her, one lit, the other dark, and chooses to look into the lit room. It's the kitchen, lit by what must be only windows in the house not covered by a storm shutter. The sound she heard was a pot boiling on the stove, and on the chopping board next to it lie a butcher's knife and some half-dried carrots. A perfectly normal household scene, with the light of the setting sun making everything the color of overripe, decomposing fruit. There's something terribly wrong, of course. Who was cooking here? And just where did they go? Is anyone here? Oimi calls, regretting it immediately as she realizes that her voice is shaking uncontrollably. As her words echo vainly through the silent house, she begins to feel foolish and defenseless. Suddenly, she feels something cold seeping through her stockings. She timidly reaches down to touch her feet, her fingertips coming away covered with a viscous olive-green slime. The slime is like the filthy water from a tank long clogged with algae and dead fish. The whole floor is covered with it. It must be the source of the stench. Oimi wishes that she had worn her shoes inside. Manners are now the farthest thing from her mind. When she looks back ruefully, the way she came, she realizes that her current position is not visible from the entrance. The kitchen must be where that strange voice and those sounds of movement came from. The next room must be the den. As she expected from having seen the storm shutters closed, it's pitch black inside. Oimi wants nothing more than to turn around and leave the house, but that would mean turning her back to the darkness of that room, something which she cannot bring herself to do. Moved less by reason than by some irrational compulsion, Oimi sets foot into the living room. It is too dark to see anything, and the stink is far worse than ever before. She slides her hand along the wall, feeling for the light switch. Fuminori... Oh, wait. Finding it much faster than she expected, she flips it on like it's her last hope. Oh, Jesus Christ. Look at that shit. Look at all those colors. Someone just went crazy with paint. Colors. So many colors. The purple of entrails, the brown of rotten meat, the crimson of fresh blood, the yellow of fat, these colors, and yet more that cannot be described, join in the maddening array to cover every inch of the walls, floor, windows, and ceiling. It's like a painter went over the room with megalomaniacal precision, leaving not the tiniest portion untouched. The colors say all that needs to be said about the painter's hate, malice, and insanity. Oimi's legs give out from the shock, sending her to the floor. The slime covering the floor immediately soaks her jeans, its cold tendrils creeping up her legs, crotch, and her neck. Her hand flies to her neck, where it is greeted by another drop of chilly slime. It's above her. Something is dripping down on her head. Making perhaps the worst decision of her entire life, Oimi looks up. The predator clinging to the ceiling, mere moments from leaping upon its prey, she sees it in every detail. Her mouth and nose are sealed before she can scream, and her belly is torn open as something enters to feast on her innards. By the time she feels any of this, Oimi has already gone mad. Yep, so she just got killed in the worst way.
No, really? I never would have guessed that.
I bit the bullet and tried to take the train, but the rush hour crowds were so bad that I had to get off and halfway and walk. I'm running pretty late. I wonder if Saya is worried. I just hope she's not mad. When I enter the yard, I realize that the front door has been left wide open. Light from the living room is seeping out into the hallway, and I hear what sounds like someone smacking their lips, and there's a tantalizing fragrance in the air. Is it Saya? I consider calling out to her, but decide to enter in silence instead. Something smells strange, but not at all unpleasant. The aroma is quite soothing. In fact, it somehow reminds me of Saya's hair. At first I'm surprised by what I see in the living room. The floor is covered with what looks like some kind of grass, probably the source of the herb-like smell, and there are fruit or vegetable-like balls of various size scattered everywhere.
Saya.
Saya. Ah. Saya turns around, her eyes wide with surprise. Then she looks away. She then looks away sheepishly, like a child caught at some prank. What are you eating? This is, well, she stammers, so flustered that I feel bad for her. Remembering that she's never eaten in front of me before, I realize that she must be quite embarrassed. I suddenly feel like I've done something awful, as if I'm a low-life peeping Tom. No, you're worse than that, Fuminori. Can I have one? I scoop up the closest fruit thing and pop it into my mouth, ignoring Saya's attempt to wave me off. It has a strange texture. It feels soft and pliable, like a peach or a pear. When I bite into it with my back teeth, a succulent juice fills my mouth. Combined with a sharp, strong fragrance, it's unlike anything I've ever tasted. How did you prepare this? Did you use any seasoning? It wasn't that complicated. I just took it apart and then melted it a little to make it easier to eat. It's practically raw. Oh. I pick up a different lump, this one consisting of fruity flesh encasing a hard core. Tearing a chunk off in my mouth, I find that it has a similar taste to the last one. Hey, are you okay? That's a... Yeah, even I can eat this. In fact, it's good. Really? At first, Saya looks dumbstruck, but soon she starts laughing mirthfully.
そうなんだ。ふみのりもこういうのが好きだったんだ。なんだ、あれこれ工夫して頑張ってた私がバカみたい。
Oh, so this is what you like. Now I feel stupid for going to all that trouble. And I think you could probably guess what he's eating, Michael.
The girl?
Yep. He sees her entrails as fruit. Is this what you always eat, Saya?
こんな大物は久しぶりだけどね。
You know what?
近所の公園とかで取ってくれるやつ。
What, from like watching this?
Yes. Into it.
Yeah.
You think it's
Huh?
funny, huh? You think it's funny?
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
So you find that when your friends doesn't go well.
You're breaking up, what did you say?
You find it entertaining when one of your best friends doesn't feel well.
I don't know if you're, like, really not feeling well, or if you're just joking around.
Really, stomach is not happy with me.
Oh. Yeah, though it's been a while since I've had one so big. I usually catch them in places like the nearby park.
Oh God.
Are you just too horrified right now?
Yeah.
I thought you were playing GTA.
I am, but that doesn't mean I can't hear things.
There's an impressive nature preserve not too far from here. I've never heard anything about fruits like these growing there, but, well, of course, they only look like fruits to me. They're really something else.
ごめんね。一番美味しいところはさっきさやが全部食べちゃった。
Sorry, I already ate all the best parts.
いいよ、また今度で。でもこれで明日から一緒に食事ができるね。
That's okay. There's always next time. And that means that we can eat together from now on. Yeah. Oh god. Saya seems really happy. I'm happy too, of course. Eating with someone is much more fun than eating alone. And it makes the food taste better too.
まだまだいっぱいあるし、食べきれない分は冷やせば 2,3 日は大丈夫だよ。ちょっと味は落ちるんだけどね。
There's still plenty left, and it'll keep chilled for 2 or 3 days. It won't taste as good, though.
じゃあ早めに片付けておこうか。
Yeah, you don't want those innards to spoil. Then we'd better start putting it away. Sealing the small fruits in Tupperware and the large ones in pots and bowls, Saya and I store the remaining food in the refrigerator. Thinking of tomorrow's dinner fills me with anticipation. Together with Saya, I feel that I'm beginning to regain the joy of living little by little. Saya will guide me. With her, I can live on. Well, not until everyone else finds out what you've been doing, that is. True scary stories. Hospital edition. Chapter 4. The Monster in the University Hospital. Elite University Hospital research student Kason relates his shocking experiences. Will you believe him or not? Strange things started happening at our hospital around the end of last spring. Many times, patients would wake up in the middle of the night screaming about nightmares. They all said that they had seen something unbelievably terrifying in their dreams, and many of them had to be sedated before they would sleep again. Some patients even transferred to other hospitals because of it. The weird thing was that all the patients had experienced exactly the same dream. A dream about the same horribly disgusting monster, standing by their bed and staring down at them. But the really strange stuff started happening after that. There used to be a lot of stray cats hanging around the campus, looking for scraps from the students. One day, the cats suddenly started disappearing, and it wasn't that they stopped coming, it was more like they'd vanished from the area entirely. And then people stopped walking their dogs around. According to rumors, it wasn't that the owners were taking their dogs elsewhere, but the dogs were refusing to go anywhere near the school. Eventually, things started going missing in the hospital too. Organs, to be precise. Organs that had been harvested for transplants kept disappearing from where they were being stored. Some people even came close to losing their jobs over it. And it wasn't just 2 or 3 times that it happened. They tried to keep it from the research students, but we heard that it was a lot worse than that. People started spreading rumors that there was something living in the hospital. The janitors would find strange messes that could only have been made in the middle of the night. Traces of something that had crawled down the hallway, or weird stains on the walls that seemed to be caused by something dripping through the ceiling. Lots of the late shift nurses talked about hearing some strange noises on the same days that the patients had screamed about nightmares. There's one last story, one you can never mention inside the hospital. One day, the obstetrics department went totally crazy. They said that a newborn had disappeared in the night. If it were true, the police would have come, and it would have been all over the news. But they say the big shots managed to make it all go away. It's just a rumor, of course. These strange incidents suddenly stopped towards the end of summer. Now there are almost no patients complaining of nightmares, and the cats have started coming back to campus.
I just farted.
Well, that's great. That really adds to the commentary, doesn't it, Michael?
Doesn't it, though?
But still, what happened in the hospital that summer? Even now, just thinking about it gives me the creeps.
Wonder if anyone's in the
I wonder if anyone's what?
Now. In the chat, I was checking.
Yeah, please do.
There's nobody in the chat, so don't worry. No one heard my little gas comment.
Well, they will when they see the stream after it's been recorded.
Well, good, they should.
Nothing. Ellipsis.
My commentary is pure gold.
Oh, exactly. This is the third day that they haven't been able to get in touch with Oimi. There's no sign of her having returned to her apartment, and even her family doesn't know anything. Her parents have already filed a missing persons report.
Well,
you know her. She'll probably just pop up somewhere like nothing happened. Or you'll find her in the refrigerator.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I hope so. Yo replies with a gloomy expression. She's worried about Oimi, of course, but the incident with Fuminori 3 days ago must still be weighing on her mind as well. Yo hasn't seen Fuminori since then, and Fuminori hasn't made any effort to approach them. 4 people used to meet in this cafeteria between classes, but now there are only 2. For some reason I read that as 3.
Because you're stupid.
You read this.
No, it's your game, not mine.
Exactly, so shut up.
No. If you want me to go commentate, then go fuck yourself.
It's a requirement, obviously.
I will rape you with a pencil.
I would question how that's possible, but... Yeah. Hey, Tono-kun, let's keep thinking. Isn't there somewhere Oimi-chan might have gone? She might have gone to the refrigerator. I don't know. But...
I don't think jumping off the roof is a wise idea. What?
Well, you never know, I mean...
I'm not trying to get Michael killed, I'm just trying to get him back to his car.
Is there a character in the game named Michael?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about yourself for a minute.
No, he's a middle-aged ex-con.
No, Koichi answers evasively. I checked them already. I checked them all
I know we don't
already.
want to draw attention, Lester. I'm trying to hurry as fast as I fucking can. You impatient little fuckwit.
What are you doing?
Damn it.
It's a lie, of course. Koji knows where Oimi planned to go that evening, but he doesn't want to bring Fuminori up in front of Yo.
So, who
I hear a bell ringing. Pretty sure that's not from the game. Is that you?
No bells here.
Their awkward silence is mercifully broken by the bell signaling the start. Oh, never mind. By the bell signaling the start of the next period.
じゃあ俺行くわ。
Well, I've got to go. Yeah.
So it was the game?
Yeah, it was.
Fuck off.
I just thought that was you for a minute because it was like kind of low, and I forgot that I turned the game volume down a little bit, so that was probably why. If Koji isn't mistaken, Yo is supposed to have class next period too, but she continues to sit there like she's in a trance. Unable to come up with anything to say, he reluctantly leaves the cafeteria. Both Oimi's disappearance and Yo's depression worry Koji, and both problems lead back to the exact same place. What the hell is Fuminori doing? When Oimi went missing, the first thing Koji did was question Fuminori. The last time he'd seen Oimi was just before she'd stormed off to give Fuminori a piece of her mind, after all. Fuminori had responded with a blunt, unequivocal denial, and had acted as though he hadn't the slightest idea of why Oimi would have gone to his house. Perhaps that was only natural, as he was unaware that Oimi and Koji had witnessed him reduce Yo to tears.
So should I order out for dinner tonight?
What's up?
Should I order out for dinner tonight? What do you think?
Sure. What are you gonna order?
I don't know, probably burgers or something.
200 pizzas. You should order 200 pizzas.
I have a $25 limit. Although I could... Actually, I could get a bread bowl from Domino's. Those are good.
A what from Domino's?
A bread bowl. You never had those?
No.
Oh, they're so good.
What is it?
It's essentially food in a bowl made of bread.
Food in a bowl made of bread.
Yes.
I don't know, it just sounds weird.
It's usually pasta, like mac and cheese and stuff.
Oh,
like
okay. I might have to see that just to see what it looks like, actually.
that. If you want, I'll order it and I'll get a picture and I'll show you on a webcam or something.
Alright.
Be like, hey, baby, here's my bread bowl.
Hey, baby. Want some of my bread bowl? It makes the girls wet.
Oh lord, this is on the stream no less. This is gonna be public.
Yup. In the first place, did Oimi actually make it to Fuminori's house? She had been riding a wave of emotions when she left, and might very well have calmed down and changed her mind halfway there. Oh, I'm also sure that people will enjoy my misreads and tripping up on words and all that, because I tend to do that quite a bit. You just broke up when you said that, what'd you say?
Fuck off. That's what I said, you motherfucking
Okay, then.
piece of shit.
You might as well have said that,
off.
actually.
Why?
Because that's a majority of what you usually just say, or that's pretty much the concept behind what you say to me, so...
I'm not gonna deny that fact.
Good. Or perhaps you ran into trouble on the way. Like being eaten by a tentacle monster. Koji concluded, or more accurately, convinced himself, that one of these possibilities was the truth, subconsciously denying the one remaining possibility. In other words, the possibility that Fuminori was lying, that he had met Oimi and was involved with her disappearance. When questioned by the police, Koji only told the truth about Oimi's destination up to the district and train station, maintaining that he had no idea where she planned to go. He wanted to cooperate with the search, of course, but knew that Oimi couldn't have made it to Fuminori's house. Fuminori said so himself, didn't he? In that case, he told the police everything they needed to know. Not wanting to get the still fragile Fuminori involved, he forced himself to accept the flimsy logic. This flimsy logic. But now, the conflict had built up inside Koji without his notice, and only formless suspicions towards Fuminori cycles through his mind.
Now we're hoping to keep quiet, so this guy shouldn't make much difference.
Koji is deep in thought, paying no attention to his surroundings, but perhaps that is what allows him to catch sight of his friend's back through the crowd of milling students.
Fuminori?
Fuminori. At first, Koji assumes that he's headed to the lecture hall, but it soon appears that he's instead going home. Strange. There should be required classes for medical students in the afternoon. Thank you for that, Michael.
I'll be right back, man. I gotta take a massive shit.
Thanks for that, too.
You're welcome. Don't you just love me?
Yeah. Now go take your shit.
Okay, man?
Alright.
I will, and I'll enjoy it. I'll be right back.
Yeah, please just tell us all about it.
Just because you said that, I'm going to.
Oh, God.
Don't you hate having a big mouth sometimes?
Maybe. I'm probably gonna regret it, actually.
Yeah, you will, trust me.
Yeah. Though he's initially surprised, Koji's hesitation lasts for only a second. Koji follows his friend, taking care to stay far enough behind that he won't be noticed. I love how Fuminori is the only person on the train. Fuminori wasn't going home, as became obvious when he boarded the train heading in the opposite direction. Koji's next guess was that he was going to see his doctor at the T University Hospital, but Fuminori rode straight through the closest station. Ugh. Where is he going? At first, Koji felt awfully foolish, rebuking himself for tailing his friend like this, but his conscience fell silent as Fuminori's actions became more mysterious. The stranger it gets, the closer Koji feels to discovering the truth behind Fuminori's sudden transformation. Any knowledge would be welcome, no matter how slight. Even Koji is beginning to think that there must be something more behind Fuminori's change than the accident alone. He wants a more satisfying answer, one that will help him decide whether or not Fuminori can be trusted. Fuminori gets off at a small station in a nondescript suburban area. Koji follows, trying not to lose sight of him amidst the other disembarking passengers. The station has neither a traffic circle nor a shopping street in front of it. The area is quite desolate, possessing only a small bookstore, convenience store, and market. It is easier for Koji to keep Fuminori in view. Fuminori seems to know these streets, clearly intent on a single goal as he hurries through the residential neighborhood. Carved out of the hills, the area has many slopes, and here and there remain steep inclines and wooded areas that escaped assimilation. Koji, who moved to Tokyo to attend school, is amazed that such a quiet place exists less than an hour out of the city. Before long, Fuminori reaches a house. Without ringing the bell or even knocking on the door, he vanishes inside, as though sucked into a vacuum, leaving Koji to wonder how Fuminori can treat the house as his own. After waiting to see if Fuminori will come back out, Koji approaches the gate and checks the nameplate. Oh guy. Koji has never heard of anyone by that name among Fuminori's acquaintances. Next, his attention is drawn to the thick wad of leaflets sticking out of the mail slot, which, coupled with the general dilapidated feel of this place, suggests that it has long been abandoned. A small playground about 2 blocks away provides an adequate vantage point from which he can watch the front of the Ogai home. Fortunately, it does not appear to be the sort of house that has a rear exit. Chiding himself for not stocking up on cigarettes, Koji settles down on a bench to begin his stakeout. 1 hour passes, and then another, but there remains no sign of movement inside the Ogai residence as twilight settles upon the neighborhood. After Koji's pack of cigarettes runs out, the stakeout becomes a battle against mounting impatience. He kills time by redialing Oimi on his cell and sending her short text messages, but his efforts are as futile as he knew they would be. When the sky begins to turn deep blue and the street lights come on, Fuminori finally emerges from the house and heads back toward the station with the same hurried stride. After some brief consideration, Koji decides that right now, investigating the house is more important than tailing Fuminori. He rings the doorbell just to make sure. Receiving the expected silence in response, he checks to make sure no one is watching and turns the doorknob. The door is not locked. Yeah, I think if that were me, I'd want to leave immediately afterward. The moment he enters the house, thick, stale air fills Koji's nostrils.
Alright, I'm back.
We've gotten to a good part, Michael.
Yeah, not good right now.
What?
Not in a good mood right now.
Oh, was that?
Are you in a window right now?
Am I in a window?
Yeah. Are you in window mode? Or?
Yeah, I'm in windowed mode.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Redolent of mold and dust, it is the unmistakable smell of a house that has long lain untouched. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, man. There's also a faint hint of something indescribable in the air. Something reminiscent of damp sewers and fetid cisterns. Flipping the light switch does nothing. The power must be dead, or perhaps cut off. Koji uses his oil lighter to illuminate the immediate area. In the thick dust covering the floor, he can clearly see several brand new trails and footprints that could have only been made by shoes. They must be Fuminori's. Showing an equal lack of reservation, Koji also enters with his shoes on. The lighter's flickering flame pushes back the deathly silence and gloom of the house. Koji is surprised to see evidence of life remaining. Everything from furniture to tableware and appliances is intact. Nothing seems to be missing. The thickness of the dust suggests that the house has been empty for several months, which means that the owner must have been left with little more than the clothes on his back. Could he have gone on a long vacation? The calendar in the den is still turned to April. Empty and silent, yet still exhibiting signs of the life that he once lived there. The house reminds Koji of a passenger ship resting at the bottom of the sea. In the graveyard-like quiet, a sinister thought suddenly runs through his head. No one is living here, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the owner left. Maybe he was killed, and his rotting corpse is right under my feet. Koji finds himself wanting a stronger light. A maglite in his hand would make him feel a lot better. Following what appear to be Fuminori's footprints, Koji ascends to the second floor, where he begins to catch the scent of paper in the stale air. It is the smell of old books, instantly familiar to anyone who has worked in an antique bookstore or library. The second floor turns out to be a study. Its towering shelves packed with such a vast number of books that Koji fears for the stability of the floor. As a medical student himself, he is able to discern at a glance that this study belongs to a medical professional, and a high-level one at that. Judging by the content of the books, a smorgasbord of technical volumes far beyond a simple student, the owner must be more interested in research than clinical medicine. It appears that Fuminori spent most of his time here, the scattered dust making it clear that he was searching for something. He seems to have focused on going through the desk and file cabinet, as the contents of their drawers are in obvious disarray. A small pile of books on a side table catches his eye. Being next to the desk, they must have been the most frequently read. What sort of books are they? What sort of books they are could shed some light on the person who worked here. Koji frowns as he examines the 3 books. The old leather-bound Western tomes are not scientific texts, but rather the kind of books you would expect to see in a glass case at a rare bookstore. The titles are equally mysterious. Traité des Chiffres appears to be about semiotics, but Ars Magna et Ultima is some kind of treatise on divination. And there's the Voynich manuscript, which appears to be a sort of picture book. When he pages through it, however, he finds line after line of utterly incomprehensible characters. Maybe it's some kind of cipher. Whatever they are, they clearly have nothing to do with medicine, refuting Koji's earlier guess that Mr. Ogai was a doctor. Looking down, Koji suddenly notices the glint of something black and metallic underneath the chair. A pocket-sized maglite, quite out of place among all these dusty books. Fuminori must have brought it in. With slight relief, Koji exchanges his lighter for the maglite. Its tiny body emits a powerful white beam that casts away the darkness. You okay over there, dude?
Huh?
Nothing, just asking if you're alright.
Not really, but...
Yeah, okay. His courage restored, he decides to explore the rest of the house. Koji notices something strange, something that was not visible in the lighter's weak flame. Uh-oh. The slime. Especially thick on the doorknobs and stair banisters, there are no mere handprints. Dark, slimy stains are everywhere, like someone had their hands wrapped in greasy cloth. Looking closer, he sees what appear to be places where slime was splashed low on the walls and near the floor. It's almost as if a wet mop was run violently across the floor. Ellipsis. Are these more remnants of Ogai's life? No. These marks are much too strange. Koji begins to feel sick as he finds himself imagining the denizen of this place wandering around with filthy water dripping from its entire body. Finding the bedroom next to the study, Koji checks the closet on a hunch. He finds 2 empty suitcases, not what one would leave behind when going on a long vacation. A sudden chill runs through him, so whoever living here is still somewhere inside the house. Suppressing the urge to flee, Koji goes back downstairs to check the first floor. If he finds a corpse, he'll have to call the police right away. He can get away with trespassing if he reports it first, but if they find the body later, it'll be awfully hard to explain his fingerprints all over the house. The maglite reveals the den to be covered in even more slime than the rest of the house. The sofa looks as though it were dredged from the bottom of a swamp. In the kitchen, Koji takes one look at the sink and decides not to get any closer. He doesn't want any more fuel for his imagination. He reaches the door to the bathroom. A common scene from TV dramas flashes through his head. A suicide with slit wrists floating in a bathtub filled with water. And wasn't there a movie where a hitman butchers his victim's body in a bathtub? A bathroom, I should say. Koji steels himself and opens the door slowly, shining his light into the ceramic bathtub that appears from the darkness like a white ghost. Oh no. Dried flesh and blood clinging to curved rib bones has turned the inside of the tub black. Koji puts one hand against the wall to steady himself as his legs threaten to buckle. Something is wrong. He realizes as he desperately tries to get his thoughts in order. Bones, but they're too small, and there are too many of them. They aren't human. After taking several deep breaths to calm himself, Koji enters the bathroom and examines the tub. The tub is half filled with small bones piled on top of each other like fallen leaves. Too small to be human. They appear to be from small animals like dogs, cats, mice, and sparrows. Even so, the quantity is mind-boggling. How many corpses would it take to produce that many bones? The bones have all been separated from each other, and it doesn't appear that the bodies were just thrown into the tub and left to rot. This is made clear by the many groove-like impressions left in each bone, marks left by teeth biting through flesh. Koji's sanity won't let him consider the possibility that a human could have done this. The owner of this house must have been keeping some sort of carnivorous animal as a pet, giving it the bones of small animals to eat, and disposing of the remains in the bathtub. But why not dispose of the leftovers properly? They could have just thrown out with the garbage. They could have just been thrown out with the garbage. Or was there something keeping him from leaving the house? The momentary relief Koji felt when he realizes the bones weren't human is once again under attack by the deepening mystery permeating this house. And just what the hell was Fuminori doing here?
どうした、Koji?
What are you doing, Koji? Koji whirls around, his penlight revealing Fuminori's expressionless face.
不法侵入だぞ、Koji.
I'm gonna head off, dude.
Oh, are you gonna leave?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
Alright, talk to you later.
Yeah. Bye.
See ya. Alright guys, Michael's gonna be leaving for now. He's dealing with some personal issues. So we're just gonna continue. You're trespassing, Koji.
お前だって同じだろうが。
So, are you... Koji replies, barely managing to speak over the pounding of his heart. Fuminori pushes past Koji and looks nonchalantly into the bathtub, as though there's nothing strange about a tub filled with bones.
僕はこの家の人と知り合いなんだ。頼まれて探し物をしに来ただけさ。
I know the owner of this house. I was just asked to find something.
知り合いっていつから一体何者なんだ
You know them? Since when? Who are they? Koji doesn't want to believe that the old friendly Fuminori could have had contact with the denizens of this house.
いずれお前にも紹介するよ。僕の恩人とも言える人だから。
I'll introduce you one of these days, he says, turning to leave without even looking at Koji. I owe them my life, after all.
おい、Fuminori!
Hey, Fuminori. With his heart finally beating normally again, Koji runs after Fuminori.
お前まさか近頃様子がおかしいのはその知り合いっていうやつのせいなんじゃ。
Wait, are they the reason you've gotten so strange all of a sudden? Standing in the entrance, Fuminori glares coldly at Koji over his shoulder. The utter lack of emotion in his eyes gives Koji pause.
僕の後をつけてきたんだね、コージ。
You followed me, didn't you, Koji? Ellipsis. With no possible excuse, Koji can only swallow under Fuminori's piercing stare.
そういうのは迷惑だ。二度とやらないでもらいたい。
That's a nuisance. I'll ask you not to do it again. Fine. Fuminori walks away without another word, leaving Koji alone in the entrance. Until this moment, there was still a part of Koji that wanted to consider Sakisaka Fuminori a close friend. Sakisaka Fuminori. Now, however, there is only ice-cold terror. Does the Fuminori he know no longer exist? Was the person who just stared Koji down an imposter wearing Fuminori's skin? Koji had begun to believe that it might be so. Which you're probably right. What a nuisance. Why does he insist on interfering? If he only spoke with me to exchange pleasantries, even I could bear it. But for him to stick his neck into my business just to satisfy his curiosity, he's clearly violating my privacy. Koji is a perfect example of someone who thinks that it's always good to take an interest in other people's affairs. He probably thinks that he's showing concern for me by prying into my personal life. He couldn't be more annoying. If he keeps interfering, I might have to find some way to deal with him. Like Saya said, I have to keep my search for Professor Ogai as secret as possible. Koji could ruin everything. Saya said that there would be nothing to help with the search, but I unexpectedly found many things of value in the professor's house. I didn't have time to fully examine the house today. At this rate, it'll probably take me several days to go through the study alone. I'll have to go to and from the house a lot. But now, Koji knows where it is. Will he keep making things difficult? Oh great, more flesh monsters. Excuse me, Sakisaka-kun. A hair-raising voice calls as I'm about to enter my gate. Suppressing a shudder, I put on a fake smile and turn to face the writhing mass of rotting flesh that is staring at me with bulging eyes. I never get used to that. Good evening, Sakisaka-san. Are you just getting home? Yes, I am. Ah, yes. This is my next-door neighbor, Suzumi, a middle-aged painter, I think, who spends all day at home while his wife works. I haven't had much interaction with him, so why is he suddenly talking to me today? Have you gotten used to living alone? Well, I'll tell you what I haven't gotten used to, and that's the flesh monsters that keep appearing. That's what I'm not getting used to. Yes, thank you for your help. I think that's what he said. I know, it must be very difficult, but you're still young. You have to work hard to move on with your life.
Oh.
Yes. Yes. What is this? Did he just stop me to deliver a lecture? With such a big house, it must be hard to take care of everything by yourself. Oh, don't worry, I have a 12-year-old girl to take care of everything for me, so... Yes, I suppose I am having trouble. Why not at least hire a caretaker? Didn't your father have one?
でもまだ学生の身ですし、高いのは限りがあるんで、そういう浪費はちょっと。
Yes, but I'm still a student, and my funds are limited. Such an expense would be... I see. The flesh beast undulates foully, as though it still has something to say. Just looking at it is driving me close to the edge. I can't really say I blame him for that. I hate this shit. Even so, don't you think you should at least tend to your yard? I'd be happy to help.
Yeah,
his yard must look like a forest or something at this point. No, thank you. I'll manage on my own. Now I get it. He's worried that the unsightliness of my house might ruin the beauty of his own. Damn snob. Well, you live in the suburb, dude. What do you expect? Flashing a token smile, I retreat into the safety of my gate. I can feel Suzumi's eyes boring into the back all the way to the front door. Boring into my back all the way to the front door. Why won't everyone stay out of my life? I want to find a place free of other people. A place where I can live together with Sire. A place where Chris Hansen won't come after you. Suzumi Yusuke. I'm trying to figure out how to pronounce his name. Yusuke? Suzumi Yusuke sighs in annoyance as he watches the neighbor boy retreat into his house. What's with his attitude? Even while talking, he kept his eyes averted, as though he was looking at something filthy. Has the eldest son of the Sakisaka family always been such an unpleasant young man? No, of course not. When his parents were still alive, he had a normal youth, slightly introverted, yet sensitive. The unfamiliarity of living alone must be placing stress upon him. If this continues, he might develop mental problems. Or is it too late already? Yusuke wonders as he warily gazes over the Sakisaka yard. Even during dinner, Yusuke can't shake the neighboring house from his mind. What's wrong, honey? You look like something's bothering you. Yeah, I just saw the young man from next door today. Next door? You mean Fuminori Oni-chan? Yeah, I spoke to him about that yard. I know. I wish he'd at least do something about the smell. I wonder what that could be causing that. Possibly the dead person in the refrigerator? Maybe Saya. The stink coming from the Sakisaka house grows worse each day, and the Suzumi family is at its wit's end. Could there be a dead cat or something in those bushes? Surely he must notice the smell coming from his own yard. Nah, I think it's something much worse than that. Yeah. He couldn't be leaving raw garbage out there, could he? No, surely not. No, I wouldn't put it past him now. Who knows what he's doing in there all day with the storm shutters closed? What kind of life is he leading? Did Oni-chan go crazy? I'd say that's a fairly logical assumption, yeah. Now, Hiromi, you mustn't say things like that. Oh yeah, and yet here you all are gossiping about the neighbor. You know, because that's so
あれ
much
は本
worse.
当にちょっとどうすぎてる。ひょっとしたら品質強か何かかもしれんな。
Honestly, with the way things are going, I'm starting to wonder if he's developed paranoia or something.
大丈夫なのそれ
That's definitely a part of it. Will he be alright? Nope.
早く自覚して医者にでも行ってもらわんことには。なんともな。
Unless he admits it and gets himself to a doctor soon, who knows? The seconds crawl by, each tick of the clock compounding my agony. When I returned from the Ogai house, I was greeted by a silent, empty home. Saya had vanished without leaving any clue as to her whereabouts. It isn't rare for her to go for walks at night. I've often gone with her. However, such outings always take place in the middle of the night, when no one is around, and never last for more than 2 hours. Right now, it's 5 in the morning. Soon the sky will begin to show the first light of dawn. Even if she left right before I returned, she's still been gone for almost half a day. Unable to sleep, I can only wait in anguish. I tried to distract myself by painting more of the other rooms, but I couldn't concentrate on the work. If I had known this would happen, I would have left the Ogai house sooner. I wish I hadn't wasted time on Koji. If Saya doesn't return, the thought fills me with such panic that I want to tear my hair out. After its long absence, the terror of true loneliness is slowly crushing me. At last, the cowbell chimes and Saya's long-awaited "I'm home" rings out from the bottom of the stairs. As I jump out of my bed in relief, all of the mental stress that has built up through the night is released in a wave that threatens to sweep me off my feet. Ah, so tired, Saya says as she climbs the stairs. I knew going all the way there and back would be hard.
Saya, 一体どこに?
Saya, where have you... My question trails off as I notice the thick bundles of paper that she's carrying under her arms.
それは?
What are those?
文則のカルテとか手術の記録
Your
今日は
medical
古巣の
charts
病院に行ってきたの
and surgery records. I went back to the hospital today. Saya all but drops her bundles on the floor, sending paper flying everywhere. Pulling her favorite cushion over, she collapses into it and stretches luxuriously.
こんな夜中に T 大から歩いて戻ってきたのか?
You walked all the way back from T University? In the middle of the night?
ごめんね本当はもっと早く帰れると思ってたんだけど調べ出したらキリがなくて
Sorry, she says, skillfully gathering the scattered papers together one by one. I meant to come back sooner, but there were so many files to go through.
結局全部持ち出してきちゃった
So I decided to just bring everything.
重かった
It was so heavy. And I probably killed a few people along the way, but no big deal. Maybe I'm just tired, but I'm not understanding a word Saya is saying.
だからそんなもの持ってきてどうするつもりなんだ?
Wait, what are you planning to do with all of this?
どうするってもちろん調べるのようちで時間かけてじっくり
What do you mean? I'm going to study them, of course, she replies, holding one MRI photograph after another up to the light. I'll have plenty of time to go over them here. At first, I think she's just playing around.
これは要チェックかな
But the occasional mutters of, ah, better check this one. Oh, I see. And the like as she separates photos into the growing pile next to her makes me think this might not be a joke after all.
君わかるのかこういうの?
Can you understand this stuff?
パパにいろいろと教わったから
I learned a lot from Dad. I see. That's how it is.
これじゃいつまで経っても直せないよね。
No wonder it can't be fixed.
直せないのか。
It can't be fixed?
人間のお医者さんじゃね。
By a human doctor, that is. I can't tell if she's being serious or not.
私でもまだちょっと難しいかな。いろいろと試してからでないと。
Even for me, it'll probably be a little tough, she says offhandedly. Even as her hands continue to shuffle papers, I'll have to try some things first. Watching more carefully, I realize that her eyes are scanning each page rapidly, so fast, in fact, that I was unable to notice it at first. Is it possible that Saya, a young girl, is trying to read? No, is actually reading my charts?
なあ、さや。
Hey, Saya.
ん？
Yeah, she answers coolly, looking up from the charts.
今日はもう疲れたし、寝ないか。
God. Is this going where I think it is? Please tell me it isn't.
海のりがそうしたいなら、そうする。
Okay. Nope. Alright guys, I'm going to disable the screen for a bit because we're going to get to a not safe for work scene. Oh, no. Nope. Nope.
海
I'm starting to think of if some of this might be important. Ah, fuck it.
いやも何も。
でもそれって大丈
Oh, no. Okay, they weren't showing the nudity, but now it's here. Not just that, but other things as well, as you can probably hear. I'll just leave what's happening up to you guys' imagination, and I'm pretty sure you can guess. Ugh. Can't believe they actually added those noises to these scenes. Oh. There we go. Oh, wait. Nope, we're not done yet. Oh, no.
夫。これだったら。ねえ、ダメだ。
そんなことない。
Was it
十
good
分
for
に
you?
よかった。
It's not gonna be good when Chris Hansen finds out, that's for sure.
でもさや、
Oh.
海のりの
中に。
海の
いや、
Yeah, she's basically asking him if he likes something she does sexually. Yeah.
海のり。
Debating if I should read some of this or not. Because I think they're kind of past it. I hope they are. Okay, basically what you guys missed that's kind of important to the plot is that she's asking him to, or she wants to bear his children. Yeah, that's really all you need to know about that. Alright, so I'm going to bring the screen back because I think they're past it now. Saya's feelings are so earnest, how can I not accept them? I need to resolve once and for all to rid myself of the useless trappings of morality. Saya and I are all that matters. There's no point in worrying about what others think anymore. although I suppose I'll still need to talk to Saya's guardian. Of course, I seriously need to find Professor Ogai as soon as possible. By the time I drift to sleep, in exhaustion's comforting embrace, all doubts about Saya's actions have vanished from my mind. Whatever the case, all that matters is that she's returned to me. "2 p.m. for Suzumi Yusuke. This is the most fulfilling time of the day. After seeing his wife and daughter off, taking care of the morning chores, and eating a leisurely lunch, it's finally time to sit down at his easel. He's not a particularly popular painter, and he would only hold an exhibition if he were hurting for money. However, the editorial design work he does on the side ensures that there's always enough to support his daily lifestyle. Alongside the salary his wife earns working for a magazine, they're able to pay their mortgage, send their daughter to school, and still have plenty left over. Yusuke's life is perfect, leisurely and absent of want. He loves his house, considering it a symbol of his life. When he mows the lawn, polishes the windows and floors, and cleans the kitchen, toilet, and bath, he feels the same joy as he does when washing his own body. Just as he knows the length of his fingernails and the time since his last meal, he also knows everything about his house's condition. The status of every door, the freshness of every flower, the amount of ice in the ice tray, every last detail. This is his pride, when he sits in the studio, smelling the turpentine and knowing that each element of his house is in perfect order. He is filled with the ultimate satisfaction. So this guy has some major OCD going on. Everything must be perfect. While trying to find the right combination of paints on his palette, he suddenly feels thirsty, but soon remembers that there isn't much orange juice left in the refrigerator. In fact, it's also about time to stock up on bath additive and powdered soap. He could also get everything at the supermarket when he goes to shop for dinner, but it'll probably be pretty heavy. Now then, where should I leave off to go shopping? He wonders idly as he heads downstairs to the kitchen. Just then, a waft of air tickles the back of his neck, bringing him to a halt in the middle of the hallway. A breeze coming from somewhere. Impossible. Every window in the house is closed. Yusuke shut them himself during his morning cleaning. Yusuke enters the living room, searching for the source of wind. Something stinks. It's the pungent smell of fetid swampland that emanates from the Sakisaka house. Could the wind be carrying it over from the yard next door? The window facing the Sakisaka yard is open, its curtains billowing loosely in the gentle breeze. There's a hole in the glass next to the lock. It looks strange, like it was melted by some chemical instead of broken. Someone must have reached through the hole to unlock the window. Yusuke stands paralyzed, his heart pounding with anger and even more so with fear. He listens carefully, but hears nothing. Perhaps the intruder has already finished his business and left. But a burglar wouldn't have left the room untouched, would he? Maybe he heard Yusuke coming and hid somewhere. Yusuke realizes that his still wet palette knife is in his right hand. He must have forgotten to put it aside before going downstairs. He stares numbly at the knife for a moment, then decides that it's not enough protection. Instead, he grabs the ashtray sitting on top of the table. Made of thick, solid glass, it is big and heavy enough to serve as a blunt weapon. The home that he cleaned every inch of, that he thought as part of himself, now seems like an entirely different world. Keenly aware of the thumping of his heart, Yusuke looks around the living room and sees little that could be used as a hiding place. The intruder must have gone either to the guest room or through the dining room to the kitchen. The kitchen is close to the stairs. If there had been movement, Yusuke would have noticed it when he came down, which means that the guest room is the most likely place. He shuffles over to the guest room door and prepares to slide it open. But what is that stench? Could the breeze alone be carrying such a potent fetor? It's as if the odor is coming from inside the room. He steels himself and throws open the door. The straw-matted Japanese-style room is empty. There is a closet, but no one could fit in there. So the intruder already left. Yusuke relaxes, the exhaustion of sudden relief coming over him. And that's when something seizes his ankle. The instant he freezes and shocked, his leg is yanked out from under him, sending him crashing to the floor. Stars explode behind his eyes, and his head smacks against the door rail. The hand, if it could even be called that, wraps around Yusuke's ankle, extends all the way back to underneath his living room sofa. There are barely 5 centimeters between the sofa and the floor, but the interior is able to hide that tiny space. The intruder, is able to hide in that tiny space. It can't possibly be human. Before the screaming Yusuke can regain his footing, countless hand-like things seize his arms and legs, rendering him helpless. Calm down. Don't be scared. The muffled, gurgling, voice-like sound is accompanied by the sensation of something cold and soft crawling on top of him. With his throat already seizing up, the panicked Yusuke can't even scream properly. I highly doubt that. I think it would hurt a lot, whatever you're about to do, Saya. It won't hurt, the hideous voice whispers in his ear. Don't be scared. It won't hurt. Thin, tube-like appendages penetrate his ears and nose, wriggling deeper into his skull. Right before the horrifying sensation drives him mad, Yusuke loses consciousness. I don't even want to imagine what she just fucking did. Thank you for taking the time to see us, Koji says, his humble bow concealing his surprise at the doctor's youth. Even without her light makeup, she wouldn't look a day over 30. She must be quite talented to be a leading neurosurgeon at such a young age.
いいのよ。あなたたちみたいな人が来てくれたのは私としてもありがたいところだし。
Oh baby. Don't mention it. I was hoping somebody like you two would come along. Her friendly smile belies the coldness one might expect from her overly refined beauty.
はじめまして。崎坂文則君の主治医の丹保です。
It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Dr. Tanbo, Sakisaka Fuminori-kun's attending physician.
文則の友人で殿浩二と言います。
I'm Fuminori's friend.
筑波陽。
Tono Koji. This is Tsukuba Yo. Yo gives a quick bow, her expression apologetic. When they had arrived at T University Medical Center and asked to see Fuminori's doctor, Koji and Yo had been prepared for rejection. They hadn't expected the ease with which they were able to see the doctor.
崎坂君の件について話が聞きたいっていうことだけど、それは私の方でも同じでね。
You say you want to know what's wrong with Sakisaka-kun? Well, so do I.
はあ。
I see.
彼、一昨日の診察に来てくれなかったのよ。
He didn't come in for his checkup 2 days ago.
返事がないし。
I tried calling his home, but there was no answer. I wouldn't be surprised if he disconnected the phones or anything like that. Pretty sure the last thing he wants to hear is a flesh beast on the other end of the line going like... 2 days ago, the day Fuminori had been searching that mysterious abandoned house, Koji frowns, wondering what had been important enough for him to blow off his appointment.
彼、学校ではどんな様子?
What is he like at school?
どうもこうも。もうめちゃくちゃです。
Totally screwed up. Yeah, I'd probably describe him that way. Seeing Yo's shoulders jerk out of the corner of his eye, Koji regrets not choosing his words more carefully.
事故の前とまるで人が違ったみたいに見えます。
Since the accident, he's been like a completely different person.
僕たちもいろいろとどうしていいかわからなくて。
We have no idea what to do now.
先生の話を伺えたらと。
So we thought that talking to you might help.
あなたたちも医大生?
Are you medical students too?
え、はい。
Eh? Yes.
彼のカルテ見てみたいと思う。
Do you want to see his chart?
見せてくれるんですか、そんなもの。
You'd really show it to us? After gazing briefly at the incredulous Koji, Dr. Tanbo sighs and says, "Oh, sorry about that."
そう思った人がいるみたいなのよ。それも病院には無断でね。
It appears that someone wanted to see it, and without the hospital's permission too.
おとといの晩、この病院に誰かが押し入ってね。保管庫から咲坂君のカルテを盗んでいったの。
2 nights ago, someone broke into the hospital and stole Sakisaka-kun's charts from the archives.
本当ですか?
Seriously? She stares hard at the astonished students, then shakes her head with a tired smirk.
まあ、あなたたちは無関係そうね。ちょっと安心したわ。
Well, it doesn't look like you two are involved. I'm relieved.
当たり前です。
Of course we aren't.
でも、犯人は咲坂君の容体に興味があるか、それとも彼の治療記録を消したかったのか。
However, the culprit must have had an interest in Sakisaka-kun's condition, or they wanted to erase his records.
いずれにせよ、彼に関わりのある人間としか思えないわ。
Either way, I can only assume that it was someone close to him.
はあ。
I see. An ominous thought flashes through Koji's mind. It couldn't have been Fuminori himself, could it? Koji looks at Dr. Tanbo and finds her staring right back at him. Her expression grave. He realizes that she must be harboring the same suspicion.
あなたには他に心当たりはない？咲坂君の知り合いでそういうことをやりかねないような人。
What do you think? Do you have any idea who among his associates might have done it? Perhaps Tanbo didn't have anyone in mind when she asked, but Koji's thoughts immediately fly to the eerie house that Fuminori led him to.
知り合いだか何なのか自分にもよくわからないんですが、多分医者か医学関係の人でオーガイっていう。
I don't know if they're acquainted or not, but there's someone called Ogai. Probably a doctor, or a... Koji stops speaking as he sees the dramatic change that has come across Tanbo's face.
ご存知なんですか?
You know him?
咲坂君がその男といつどうやって知り合ったのかわかる?
Do you know when and where Sakisaka-kun first encountered that man?
いえ、こっちが知りたいぐらいです。先生、一体何者なんですか?あのオーガイっていう人は。
No, that's what I'd like to know, Doctor. Just who is this Ogai? After remaining in pained silence for some time, Tanbo lets loose a heavy sigh.
いいわ。その気になれば簡単に調べがつくことだし。 大貝正彦はうちの大学にいた教授よ。
It's not like you couldn't find out on your own easily enough. Ogai Masahiko was a professor at this university.
いろいろと不祥事があって半年以上前に免職になったけど。
He was dismissed over 6 months ago, however, following several scandals.
不祥事って一体何を？
Scandals? What did he do?
そこから先は部外者に話せることじゃないわ。どのみち咲坂君には何の関係もないことよ。
I can't say any more to outsiders, and, anyway, it has nothing to do with Sakisaka-kun. Koji has no argument with which to answer Tanbo's flat rejection. However, he can't shake the feeling that this Ogai person is the key to unraveling the mystery surrounding Fuminori.
先生、もしかしたら咲坂文則は刑事事件に関わっているかもしれないんです。
Doctor, he says, making up his mind, Sakisaka Fuminori might be involved in a crime. Uh-oh. Yep, things aren't looking well for Fuminori here. At this sudden declaration, both Tanbo and Yo raised their eyebrows.
どういうこと？
What do you mean?
彼を訪ねていったっきり行方不明になってしまった人間がいます。もちろん文則は否定していますが。
Someone went missing after going to see him. Fuminori denies any involvement, of course.
それってオミちゃんのこと？
You mean Omi-chan? I've been, mispronouncing her name on and off, I realize that now. And Koji's too. I think it's Koji, not, Koiji or whatever. I don't know why I pronounce it that way. Koji's unable to bear the shock in Yo's voice.
すまん、つくば。君には言えなかった。
Sorry, Tsukuba. I couldn't tell you. Tanbo was frowning, her expression even more serious than before.
その大貝という人物が今文則の関心の焦点になっているらしいんです。
Right now, this Ogai seems to be the center of Fuminori's attention.
彼が何者で、文則が彼の何について探っているのか、それが分かれば少しは事情が見えてくるかもしれません。
If we know who he is and what Fuminori's looking for, we might start to see the whole picture.
お願いです、先生。教えてください。この病院で一体何があったんですか？
Please tell us, Doctor, just what happened at this hospital. More ellipsis. Dr. Tanbo hesitates for some time, refusing to make eye contact, but she finally shakes her head.
ごめんなさい。こればかりは私の一存で話せる事柄じゃないの。
I'm sorry. This is not something I can decide on my own. God damn it. Yeah, every time I scroll the mouse wheel, that happens, so... Doctor!
でも少しだけ待って。私は私なりにいろいろと調べてみる。放っておける状況じゃないのはよく理解できたから。
Give me some time. I'll do my own investigating now that I know that this can't be ignored.
お願いします。
Please. Koji's out of options. All that's left is to trust this young doctor. It's frustrating, but there's a limit to what can be done for a friend.
お互い携帯の番号を交換しておきましょう。何か分かったら連絡するわ。あなたたちも何か新しい動きがあったらすぐに私に教えて。
Let's exchange cell phone numbers. I'll call you if I learn anything. And you call me the moment anything changes.
ええ、わかりました。
Yes, alright. What happened to me? Sorry about that if you guys can hear the voices in the background. Yusuke's consciousness returned slowly, as though rising from a bog. He's cold. No, he's hot. Something itches, like tepid tongues and cold slugs crawling over his skin. What the hell's going on? he wonders as he timidly opens his eyes. It's all over the walls and ceiling. The thing that attacked him in the living room, that entered his skull, it's everywhere. Terror shatters Yusuke's sanity. He throws off the thing lying on top of him, but his wild flailing sends him crashing to the floor. But is it really the floor? The long, wriggling fibers of what should be the carpet are winding themselves around his fingers. The floor is made of worms. He tears his limbs free of the worms and tries to stand, but loses his balance and goes crashing to the floor again. The worms immediately swarm over his entire body. Where the hell am I? Where did that thing take me? Yusuke crawls around the worm-ridden floor towards the only exit from the pulsating room. When he goes outside, however, he finds that the hallways and other rooms are all made of blood, bile, and rotten meat. There is no place to run. What is this? Most terrifying of all, this hellish place has the same layout as Yusuke's house. In a half-mad daze, he wanders through the warped, nightmarish version of his home. In the small room where his studio should be, he finds an easel made of bones, displaying a blood-soaked canvas. Like some cruel joke, everything is exactly where it would be in Yusuke's studio. Damn it, let me out. Let me out of here. Howling, Yusuke swings his arms wildly, pummeling everything within his reach. The easel of bones shatters, driving splinters into his fist. He feels the sharp pain, but does not awaken from the nightmare. If this isn't a dream, then what is it? When his strength gives out, Yusuke falls to his knees, sobbing for the first time in his life. He prays to the gods. The sound of the door opening and closing grates on his ears. Downstairs, the front door. Someone else is here. I'm home. Yusuke trembles at the blood-curdling sound. It's that thing again. The monster has returned. Daddy, I'm home. Where's dinner? I think he's dinner tonight. Oh, he's not here. Did he go shopping? When can we eat? Yusuke hears the sound of something slimy sloshing its way up the stairs. Even as he cowers in terror, he slides his trembling hand across the floor and grabs one of the bones from the broken easel. The tip of the bone is nice and sharp. If he holds it in both hands and puts his weight behind it, he might be able to use it to protect himself. Honey, are you home? The monster's growls are getting closer. Holding his breath, Yusuke presses his back against the wall next to the door. The pounding of his heart is like thunder in his ears, so loud that he fears the creature might hear it. He knows that he might be eaten if it finds him again, but it's all he can do just to keep from crying. At last, the door to his room swings slowly open. Honey? Yusuke leaps on the creature as it enters, fear turning his roar into a high-pitched scream. The flesh beast is covered in sludge and vile juices. But before horror can paralyze him, Yusuke brings his bone stake stabbing down. The monster screams as the stake pierces his chest and punches through to the other side. The stinking creature falls back, writhing in agony. The sight of its pain sets Yusuke's blood on fire. I can win. I can kill it. If I finish it off before it enters my head again, I'll be saved. Grabbing the bone with both hands, Yusuke twists again and again, gouging an ever-widening hole out of the monster's flesh. The monster convulses and gurgles, its trembling tentacles reaching up as though begging for help. Die, 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 die. Yusuke knocks it to the floor, then brings his heel crashing down on its flopping body again and again. With each stomp, it groans and spasms grow weaker. When the monster at last stops twitching, Yusuke, panting hard, tears the stake from its corpse and rises to his feet. Daddy, something squeals. Yusuke turns around to see another, smaller monster peeking at him from the stair landing. So there's still one left. His previous desperate, rage-filled attack both exhilarated him and gave him a taste for violence. This one will be easier. It's smaller and weaker after all. Yeah, so this guy is killing his entire family right now. And he's about to kill his daughter, so. Grinning crazily, Yusuke raises his stake and slides towards the second creature. Silence. The small monster flees, screaming down the stairs. Not about to let his prey escape, Yusuke roars and gives chase. The thought that maybe the nightmare will end if he kills every monster feeds his savage bloodlust. Now that's just depressing. Ugh. When the monster trips and falls in the dining room, Yusuke leaps on top of it and brings the stake down with all his might. He stabs it again and again, mercilessly shredding and pulverizing its flesh, his bloodlust unsatisfied until there is nothing left of its original shape. Eventually, the only sound in the house is Yusuke's heavy breathing. He has killed 2 monsters, but the nightmare shows no sign of ending. Yusuke staggers to the front door, goes outside. Yep, and it's no better outside. Surprisingly enough, right? The sky, the city, everything has gone mad. Including himself. Twisted shapes, maddening colors, stinking air. There is no escape, no end to this nightmare. The last remnant of Yusuke's sanity vanishes like dust in the wind. Like dust in the wind.
Konnichiwa, Oji-san.
Hi, mister. Mr. Murderer. Yusuke turns towards the sound of a young girl's voice. She is standing in front of the house next door, wearing a spotless one-piece over her pure white skin. In the midst of this filth-ridden world, she seems to be glowing with beauty.
Oji-san ni wa watashi ga dou mieru?
How do I look to you, mister? Now we have 2 pedophiles, apparently. You're very cute. Ugh. I feel dirty again. Very gross reading some of this. Yusuke feels the sudden black lust rising within him. no.
本当？じゃあ実験は成功かも。
So now not only is this guy a murderer, but he's also about to be a pedophile rapist. Really? Then the experiment might be a success. Yusuke walks up to the strangely jubilant girl and brushes his hand against her long, smooth hair.
こんな可愛らしい女の子はこの世界には君一
I
人
don't
しかい
feel
ないん
right
だ。
reading this. Such a lovely girl. You must be the only one in the whole world.
おじさん？
Mister? She looks curiously up the man towering over her, perhaps sensing something disturbing in his hungry stare.
お嬢ちゃん、おじさんと遊んで
Oh
くれるか
my
い？
god. How about we play a game, little girl? I've got some candy
いいけど、
in my pants.
何するの？
Oh my god. Okay, but what are we going to do? See, all you have to do is get in the back of my van, and, you know. Yusuke says simply.
そりゃあもうおじさんが楽しめそうなこと全部さ。
Grinning broadly, he grabs the girl's collar and tears the front of her one piece wide open. Guys, I know what's about to come up, and it is kind of important for the plot, but I'm still probably going to disable the screen. I might as well just go ahead and tell you. He's going to rape her. I'm pretty sure you could guess that. Shock and fear twists the girl's lovely, delicate features, stimulating Yusuke's sadism. Even after killing those two monsters, the embers of violence are still smoldering in his heart, and now they have new fuel to burn.
いい顔だよ、お嬢ちゃん。おじさんにもっと可愛らしい顔をして見せてくれないかい？
This guy became, like... At first he was fairly normal, but now he's just a total fucking psychopath. I like your expression, girl. Won't you show me an even prettier one? Oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't want to read that. Tears in her eyes, the terrified girl flees into the Sakisaka house. Yusuke runs after her, feeling the joy of the hunt. Even in desperation, she has no hope of outrunning an adult. Yusuke charges down the hallway and easily catches up to her in the kitchen. He grabs her from behind and wrestles her to the floor before she can resist. Oh no. I'm hoping what... Oh no, shit. Yeah. Yep, we're just gonna skip by this. Alright. As always, the sights of the city grate on my nerves. Today, however, I don't feel as much hatred as I usually do. I am growing more and more accustomed to my condition, but my good mood today is mostly thanks to my search of the Ogai house having finally borne fruit. When I pulled all the drawers out of the desk, I found an envelope stuck in the space between it and the walls. It must have fallen off the back of the writing tray. Not writhing. Inside were 3 outdoor photographs. I couldn't recognize the scenery due to my condition, but I'm pretty sure that they show the outside of some building. Scrawled on the back of each photo was an address. Nagano Prefecture, M Village, Tochigi Prefecture, S-Town, Shizuoka Prefecture, H-Town. I've never heard of any of them, so they might be way out in the countryside. The photos were all dated more than 10 years ago. I don't know why they were taken or what they mean, But maybe Saya will be able to make some sense of them. In any case, this is something that even Saya missed when she was living in that house. I wonder how she'll react when I show her what I found. More importantly, I wonder how Fuminori will react once he sees what's actually going on in his house. Saya, I want to see her. Just the thought of her waiting in for my return makes me impatient to get home. Yeah, that's gonna go away pretty quickly. When I step through the gate, I see that the front door is wide open again. This is the second time this has happened. Oh no. Upon entering the house this time, however, the sound of Saya crying in the kitchen chills my blood. And it's not just her. I also hear a low, wet grunting. Sorry about that, guys. My sister's loud. There's no time to take off my shoes. I race down the hallway, propelled by a terrifying premonition. Okay. I think I'm going to show this. I'm not going to disable the screen because something important does happen. So, just a forewarning, there's going to be some sex and nudity and all that. So, if you guys don't want to see that, then click away now. Fair warning. So, let's go ahead. Alright, sorry about that. A monster is in my house. It's raping Saya. The filth oozing from its body spreads across her skin, and it drives its body with animal ferocity between her weakly trembling thighs. Yeah, not reading that. Each time the beast moves, Saya's sobs become cries of agony, and she looks at me with tear-filled eyes and calls my name in a weak, breathless voice. Rage erupts inside me like black lava, its enormous power making me lightheaded. The monster finally stops mindlessly gorging itself on Saya's body and turns its head to look at me. Surprised by my own composure, I easily slip past it and grab the meat cleaver sitting next to it in the sink. Without a moment's hesitation, I slash at what appears to be its face. It screams and staggers away from Saya. My attack must have blinded it because it flails its tentacles wildly as it tries to drive me away. My bloodlust still unsated, I calmly seize one of its tentacles and plunge my weapon twice more into its quivering flesh. The blade slices through its body with fascinating ease, each strike sending its blood spraying into my face. As I carve the monster to pieces and hear its hideous screams, my mind is finally consumed by the flames of rage. This thing hurt my Saya. No mercy. Its death alone won't satisfy me. Jesus, Fuminori, holy shit. I give myself to the fury, howling at the top of my lungs as I slash and slash and slash. Even after the flesh beast stops moving, I keep slashing until I realize that its corpse can no longer feel pain. Cursing myself for killing it so quickly, I angrily stab the cleaver into the floor, snapping it in half. Yeah, pretty sure it's dead, dude. When my thoughts finally begin to regain some order, I find myself still digging the broken knife into the kitchen floor. The monster is gone. All that's left are pieces of it scattered everywhere. I stop cutting into the tile, and in the sudden silence I can hear Saya's faint sobs coming from the corner of the kitchen.
Saya.
Saya. Unable to find the right words, I pull the cowering Saya into my arms. She stiffens in fear at first, but as soon as she realizes that it's me, she clings to my body and cries. Fuminori. I was scared. So scared. Not knowing what to say, I can only keep holding her. This should never have happened to Saya. Everything is to blame. Yes, including myself. I couldn't protect her. If I'd been with her, then maybe I could have stopped this. I'm sorry, she says over and over again, her voice choked with tears. Not wanting to hear that from her, I pull her head into my chest. Don't say that, Saya. It's not your fault. I try to reassure her, but she shakes her head vigorously in denial. No, it is. I did it. I don't understand. What is she saying? You did... What? I messed with his brain, she answers, glancing at the dismembered monster with her swollen eyes. I made the inside of his head the same as yours. I made him see the world like you do. It takes me some time to understand the meaning of Sai's words, and even longer to decide how to respond. What? But how? Oh, nudity. Finally regaining her composure, Sai responds to my confusion in a low voice. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. There's gonna be some scenes with nudity I won't really be able to disable because some of these parts are important to the plot, so if you're not okay with the nudity or anything like that, then I suggest you click away. I can do stuff like that. I can change the bodies of other living things. I've had this ability since I was born. Ellipsis. Every organism is different, so I have to study them in detail before I know how to change them. By doing some research, I figured out what happened to your brain. So I wanted to see if I could do the same thing to someone else. But why? I thought that if everyone were like you, they would all be kind to me. My heart aches at the loneliness in her voice as she confesses her sorrowful wish. But that man, he wasn't kind at all. He said he wanted to hurt me, break me, and he... She starts crying into my chest again, unable to say any more. I gently rub her back while trying to get my jumbled thoughts together. Saya, what is she? The question is beyond me. However, there is one thing that I can answer, here and now. Saya is mistaken. She is misunderstanding something vital. You think that I'm kind to you? Because of that accident? Yeah. She nods sadly. I smile and shake my head. You're wrong. That was only the beginning. It's not that simple.
それから2人で過ごした時間のその一日一日の積み重ねが今の僕らの関係を作ってるんだ。わかるかい？
Alright, sorry about that. The time you and I spent together after we met, those days, those experiences, are what made us what we are. Understand?
ふみのり。
Fuminori.
あの日から今日までさやと一緒にいた僕だから、さやに優しくして大切にしてあげたいって。
I've been together with you all this time. And because of that.
そう思う僕になった。そう思われるさやになったんだ。これって大変なことだろう。
You became important to me, and I became kind to you. See? It's harder than you think. Saya is still crying, but now her tears feel warm against my chest. My chest.
わかってる。さっきやっとわかった。
In all honesty, I do feel some sympathy for Saya, but at the same time, I can't really ignore what she's done. So, basically, I feel pretty conflicted about how I should feel towards these characters. I mean, they're terrible people, but their position is somewhat understandable, so I don't know. Yeah, I understand. I finally understand now. Her smile shines through her tears.
さやにはふみのりしかいないんだって。ふみのりみたいな人はもう他に誰もいないんだって。
I only have you, Fuminori. There will never be anyone else like you. Now more than ever before, I feel the depth of the bond between us. And I'm sure that Saya feels the same way. I wrap my arms tightly around Saya and seal her lips with mine. Ugh. Saya responds, winding her arms around my neck. Our tongues desperately seek each other's warmth. Ugh. At this moment, Saya is my whole world. At this moment, I am hers. Her age is just a number, bro, and prison is just a room. Whoops. Sorry, I didn't read that. Of course, I still haven't told her something very important. Of course, I still haven't... Oh, I already read that. I don't know why. I've never said it before. Perhaps because it was always so obvious, however. Perhaps it was because it was so obvious. However, I should put it into words at least once. This oath of mine.
Saya, 僕は君のことが。
Saya, I...
待って。
Wait. She stops me with her finger against my lips.
その前にみのり、一つだけ確かめさせて。
Before that,
あなたの
Fuminori,
望みを。
tell me one thing. What do you desire?
僕の望み。
What do I desire? Saya nods, staring into my eyes with unusual solemnity.
さっきも言ったけど、私には私にしかできない方法で生き物の体に干渉できる。
Like I said before, I can affect the bodies of living things in a way that nothing else can.
人間の脳をいじる方法もこれでちゃんと確認が取れたわ。
And now that I've learned how to manipulate human brains properly, Saya pauses and takes a deep breath before continuing.
今ならあなたの頭を元の状態に戻すこともできるの。
I can turn your brain back to normal.
なんだって。
What? Until now, such a thing hasn't even been in the realm of possibility.
その人にやったのと逆のことをふみのりにしてあげればいいだけ。
I just have to do the opposite of what I did to that man.
簡単なことよ。
It's really simple. I replay Saya's words in my head to be sure of their meaning.
だからふみのり、教えて。
So tell me, Fuminori.
あなたが昔の暮らしに戻りたいかどうか、あの事故で失ったものを取り戻したいのかどうか。
Do you want to return to your old... Do you want to take back everything? Or do you want to take back what you lost in the accident? Okay, guys. Let me save real quick. Okay. There are 3 choices in this game, which means this game has 3 endings. And this is the first choice. This will lead us to the first ending. So we're just going to do all the endings, because there aren't really that many. And for a visual novel, this is actually pretty short, so we're just going to do all of them. And the first ending we're going to do is called the Humanity ending. And if we select Want It All Back, Saya does what she says, and she changes our brain back to normal. So we see everything as basically as it should be, or as it was before we had our head fucked with, however that happened. But yeah, you'll see what happens. Don't really want to spoil it, so let's go ahead.
そりゃもちろん戻れるっていうのなら元に戻りたいと思う。
Well, of course, I answer without thinking. If it's possible to go back, then I want to, I think. And in my opinion, guys, this is the only ending where Fuminori kind of redeems himself in a way, and he's not really seen as a really terrible person or anything. The other endings, however, not so much. He is kind of an asshole in the rest. So if we were to go past that point and go with any of the other endings, Fuminori wouldn't be such a sympathetic sort of character, basically. I've never wondered if there could be any other answer. I stopped dwelling on this question a long time ago. If I'd been asked several months ago, I wouldn't have hesitated. But what about now? What does it mean to wish for the past? And what could it do to me inside? As soon as the thought occurs to me, my true feelings become unclear. The hurried answer I just gave her was less certain than I thought.
そう。そうよね。当たり前よね。
Yeah, of course you would. I mean, I feel like it kind of disappoints Saya too, but yeah, considering the kind of thing she is, I'm not really all that concerned with what would make her happy, really. I don't know. I mean, like, it's a very gray area, so I really don't know. Saya smiles softly. Her expression an unreasonable mixture of what seemed to be sorrow and relief. Seeing it fills me with a sudden unease, as though I've just wounded her deeply with my careless words.
なさや、僕は。
Hey, Saya,
いいの、文則。もう
It's okay,
何も言わないで。
don't say any more. Saya kisses me again, as though to silence me, and thrusts her tongue into my mouth with even greater passion than before. Oh my god. As the sweet softness of her tongue clouds my mind, I begin to feel an urgent need to say what she prevented me from saying, to speak the most important words.
Saya.
Saya. I can't speak. For some reason, my mind is hazy. My consciousness is slipping away as the euphoria from her kiss spreads to my entire body.
おやすみなさい、文則。
Someone's calling me. I'm gonna leave that for later. I'll let it ring. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but my ringtone is the theme of Laura from Silent Hill 2. Sleep well, Fuminori. I hear Saya whisper softly from far away.
心配しないで。次に目が覚める時には何もかもが終わっているから。
Don't worry. When you wake up, everything will be over. That's no good. I have to tell you something before I sleep. Just one thing. Such thoughts are meaningless, however, as oblivion calls me into its embrace. That's my text notification tone. It's a whistle. I know it's stupid. When I awoke, the first thing that greeted me was a terrible stink. I should really put this fucking phone on vibrate, actually. I'm probably gonna do that. There we go. Probably should do that before I start these streams. Yeah, okay. Suzumi-san's body was covered in flies, and I could smell the rotten stench that you would expect from a corpse. The night had ended, but Saya was nowhere to be seen in the morning light. Aside from the blood-covered floor, the kitchen looked the same as it had in my youth. In contrast, the colors of the living room that had been so soothing to me the day before were now a stark reminder of what a distant world I'd been living in. Knowing it would be futile, I wandered the house in search for Saya for almost an hour, and I tried in vain to deny reality. Then I called the police. When the operator answered, I couldn't stop myself from crying. It had been such a long time since I heard a human voice other than Saya's, after all. As became clear later, Suzumi-san had murdered his family before I killed him. Unable to give the police a satisfactory explanation, I was arrested for all 3 murders, and when they found the remains of Takahata Omi in my house, the charge became 4 counts of murder and 1 count of mutilating a corpse and eating its remains. During my interrogation, I told them everything exactly as it had happened, in every detail. The detectives didn't believe me, of course, but the psychiatrist who came later did. He had me moved from the jail to a much cleaner white room. Because you're crazy, Fuminori. That's right, this room looks just as stark white to me as it does to everyone else. In the end, they declared me incapable of answering for my own actions. Everything that had happened to me was real, but it was part of a reality that was incompatible with the world outside of this room. So the doctors gave me a tiny space all to myself, a place where I could live in my own reality. I'm sad that I wasn't believed, but I know that it couldn't be helped. In this world, reality is the vast majority of what people say it is. I simply had the misfortune to step outside of that box. The walls of my room are undeniably white. Thankful for that alone, I will live out the rest of my life. Everyone said that there had never been any girl named Saya. Well, so be it. Saya was probably never part of their world. Well, it was, but not in a particularly good way. But why shouldn't I be able to hear Saya's voice here in my room? This is my reality, after all, a continuation of the very real time that we spent together. How long did I wait with such thoughts floating through my head? One night, I awoke to the sound of something crawling down the hallway. The sound would not normally have awoken me, but I must have had a premonition that night. Sleeping lighter than usual, I had waited for her arrival, and so I knew instantly that it was her.
Saya なんだね.
Saya, is that you? Ellipsis. She did not answer, but I could feel her outside my door, struggling with some internal conflict.
どうして声を聞かせてくれないんだ?
Hey, won't you let me hear your voice? Why won't you let me hear your voice? After a long silence, something small was slid through the narrow bars of my peephole. It was a cell phone, the screen already showing a notepad with a freshly entered text. My voice will sound strange to you. I couldn't suppress a chuckle at Saya's uncharacteristic display of shyness.
そんなこと僕は全然気にならないよ。
I don't care about that at
君の
all,
声が聞きたい。
I said,
姿が見たい。
sending the phone back through the bars. I just want to hear you, see you. After a short pause, the phone returned to my side. Please let me stay the Saya you remember.
そうか。
I see. I'd started to suspect that it might be so. Everything had appeared warped to my eyes. Only Saya had looked normal. I thought that she was somehow unique. And you'd be right. In truth, however, she had probably been a different kind of unique than I'd imagined. Like a terrible Cthulhu monster that kills all your friends. It wasn't that my senses hadn't distorted her appearance, but that she had been so unusual that she had seemed normal to my twisted mind. Saya's true form was something other than what I had known. Now, however, I could see her as she really was. Well, I don't think you can. She's on the other side of the door, dude. I couldn't blame her for not wanting to reveal herself to me. The girl's heart was not for me to understand. I just had to accept it.
あの日君に言おうとしてたこと、保留になってたの、覚えてる。
Yeah, I mean, that or a monster's heart, so... I tried to say something to you that day, but couldn't. Do you remember? I slid the phone back to her. I was hoping that you'd forgotten. I smiled wryly at the text on the screen, wondering if she really thought me so heartless.
忘れたりするもんか。
How could I forget? No one was listening, but still, it would have been embarrassing to speak to the rest. So this time, I typed it into the phone. GHI space JKLMNO LMNOP space letters. I slid the phone back through the slot. I could sense her trembling outside my door. I couldn't hear or see her, but still, I knew. Saya was crying silently.
僕は構わなかったんだよ。
I wouldn't have cared, you know. Perhaps my words offered no comfort, spoken so late. Even so, I wouldn't have cared. I had wanted to return to my old life, true, but I would have abandoned that wish for Saya. I knew that I would have gone with her, hand in hand, as far as we could, even to the most forbidden of places. Saya, too, must have known that I'd be prepared, must have known that I'd been prepared. And because she knew, she stopped me from saying those words. If I had spoken that oath, there would have been no going back. She ended it before that could happen, and vanished from my life. I'm sorry. I was a coward. I look at the words on the screen and shake my head.
君だけが悪いんじゃない。あの時僕に迷いがなければ、君だって勇気を出せた。そうだ。
It's not your fault. If I hadn't hesitated then, you wouldn't have found the courage, right? I was afraid of you, of how you were changing because of me.
仕方ないさ。
It's no one's fault. Saya couldn't bring herself to take everything from me, and I couldn't bring myself to give up everything for her. We were too weak to find happiness.
さやはこれからどうするんだ。
Saya, what will you do now? I'll keep searching for my dad. He'll know how to send me back to where I came from.
そうか。
I see.
帰りたいんだね。さ
You
や
want to go home, don't you? A short time passed with no words or messages exchanged. I wonder how many times in that brief silence she considered answering yes or no. Yeah. When the phone finally returned, the characters on the screen seemed strangely uncertain.
そうか。お父さん、見つかるといいね。
Well, I hope you find your father. I'll do my best. The time had come for our parting. She had chosen her path, and I had given her my blessing. Nothing more needed to be said.
もしも気が変わったら、僕はずっとここにいるから、いつでも来ていいからね。
If you change your mind, I'll always be here. You can come see me whenever you want. I will. Thank you. Goodbye, Fuminori. I read her final message and returned the phone to the other side.
さようなら、さや。
Goodbye, Saya. She gently slapped my door in response, and then I heard the sound of her sliding off down the hallway. And then I was alone in the silence of the night. Ever since that day, I've been waiting. Perhaps Saya really did return to where she came from. Perhaps she is still wandering somewhere today, looking for her father. It must be hard. She must be lonely. When she can no longer stand being alone, she will surely return to me. I am the only one who will comfort her with kind words, after all. And so I will wait, dreaming of her voice and her face. I will wait. Forever, in my wide world. And that's the end. That's the first ending, at least, guys. My sister won't shut the fuck up. We'll continue tomorrow. And we're going to try to go for the second ending. We might not do it all by tomorrow. Oh, actually, we won't be able to do it tomorrow. We'll try to continue Monday, then. We'll do most of the second half of the game. We might not get to the second ending, but we'll hopefully get close. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the game so far and the story. So yeah, I'll let the credits play, because there's a song that I like that plays in the credits, so, but I'll turn my mic off for now. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and if you want to see the credits, here they are.